Kazuki, you are demoted.
The entire floor stopped breathing. Every pair of eyes turned toward them. The silence was suffocating. She handed him a single sheet of paper without a word. Demotion. Notice, Kazuki is hereby relieved of all current responsibilities and transferred to administrative support, effective immediately.
This has to be a mistake. I was 2 weeks from a promotion. My career was just destroyed in front of everyone.
Co-workers whispered behind him, assuming he'd made a catastrophic error. His reputation evaporated in seconds.
What did I do? Please, just tell me.
The decision is final.
She walked away without looking back, her heels clicking on the tile. By nightfall, Kazuki sat at a tiny support desk in the corner, his promotion a dead dream. The demotion letter lay crumpled in his fist, the red stamp demoted burning into his eyes. The next morning, Kazuki marched to Reina's office, determination hardening his jaw. He needed an answer.
You owe me an explanation. Why was I demoted?
It was a performance decision. The matter is closed.
She refused to meet his eyes. Her voice was ice, but her knuckles were white on the desk. An hour later, Kazuki sat across from the HR manager, his last hope for an appeal.
Your director has blocked any review. There's nothing we can do.
Kazuki left the office, his footsteps heavy. In the hallway, a coworker averted his eyes and hurried past.
Even clients are pulling back. A week ago, they praised my work. Now, they won't return my calls.
That evening, he sat alone in the darkening office, scrolling through old projects. The demotion wasn't random, it was surgical.
Someone wanted me out of that path, and I am going to find out why.
That night, alone in the dark office, Kazuki dug into the promotion he had lost.
3 names, all promoted into this exact role over the past year.
He pulled their personnel files. Every single one had been terminated within a month.
It's not coincidence. The promotion itself is a dead end.
He cross-referenced dates on his laptop, building a timeline of destruction.
Reina signed every termination. She's not just my boss. She's running a purge.
The woman who publicly humiliated him was systematically eliminating anyone in that position.
But then why spare me? I was next in line. What made her change course?
He saved every file, every date, locked them away, like evidence for a trial that might never come. But the central question, why, hung in the air, maddeningly out of reach. Kazuki contacted a terminated employee. They met in a quiet cafe.
You are making a mistake contacting me. If they find out, I'll lose my severance.
Then tell me quick, why were all of you promoted and then fired?
The safety division. Stay away from it.
He slid a napkin across the table with a shaky hand. The warning scrawled in rushed pen strokes. Stay away from the safety division.
Safety division. That's where every promoted employee landed. And then they were erased.
That night, Kazuki stayed late, waiting for the cleaning crew to leave before descending to the basement records room. Dusty air, flickering fluorescent. He found a shelf stacked with boxes. Safety Division, 2023, confidential. He pulled the top box down, the cardboard cold in his hands. Inside, folders thick with test reports. Kazuki opened the first folder. A safety certification report, stamped with the company logo.
These pressure test numbers, they're too clean. No real equipment yields results this perfect.
He pulled up the public safety standards on his phone, heart hammering. The numbers didn't match.
Forged. Every single test result in here is fabricated.
He laid out report after report, cross-referencing dates, signatures, and certification stamps.
A signatory on every fake report. That promotion would have made my signature part of this crime.
He pulled out his phone, quickly snapping photos of the most damning pages. A promotion would have legally bound him. A demotion erased his name from existence in this division.
Reina didn't just ruin my career. She fed 3 others to this scheme. But then, why protect me?
The scale of the fraud was terrifying. He was holding a smoking gun, and no one else could be trusted. Kazuki needed an ally. He approached a coworker he still trusted, pulling her aside in the break area.
Look at these. Safety certifications. Forged test results. The division is a fraud.
Are you insane? Delete those. People who ask too many questions disappear. That promotion was a legal trap. Anyone who signed became a scapegoat. You were almost one of them.
She glanced around the empty break room, her voice dropping to a whisper.
Reina burns everyone who gets too close. Don't end up like them.
She turned and hurried out, leaving him alone with the hum of the vending machine.
There's no one left to trust. The higher-ups must be protecting this fraud. If I don't do something, they'll keep using that division to crush more lives.
The isolation was complete, but in that hollow silence, his purpose crystallized. Late that night, a notification lit up his phone. An encrypted message from an anonymous sender. The promotion is a legal trap. Demotion saved you.
Saved me. The demotion was protection.
He scrambled back to the forged certifications on his laptop, the signature line burning from every page.
As a signatory, my career wouldn't just be over. I'd be facing criminal charges.
The signature line was a liability. His name wasn't on it, but it could have been.
Someone deliberately kept my name off those documents. This demotion was a shield.
The public humiliation, the dead-end desk, it all reorganized into a different shape in his mind.
But who would go that far? Not Reina. She wouldn't sacrifice her career for mine, would she?
The answer hovered just out of reach, but the shape of the truth was beginning to form. Kazuki spent hours digging into Reina's past. Spotless record, no scandal, no hint of criminal ties. He couldn't reconcile the cold boss with the anonymous protector. There was only one way to find out.
I know about the safety division, the forged certifications. Someone warned me. Was that you? Did you demote me to keep my name off those documents?
Reina's mask cracked. Her hand trembled on the desk, knuckles white.
You need to stop digging. Now, I can't explain, but if you value your future, you will drop this.
Why won't you tell me? You publicly destroyed my career. I deserve an answer.
She turned her chair away, shoulders rigid, refusing to say another word. Kazuki walked out of her office, more certain than ever that Reina was hiding something enormous. Back at his desk, Kazuki made a decision. He couldn't wait for Reina to speak. He had to force the truth out. He began packing the incriminating documents alongside a copy of his evidence file. Then he opened his laptop and started writing an email to a major investigative journalist. Subject line: confidential evidence of safety certification fraud. Attachments loaded. Cursor hovering over send. Just then, his phone buzzed with an unknown number. A text message. We need to talk. I have information regarding Reina. Meet me tomorrow morning.
Is this a setup? Or the whistleblower finally revealing themselves? I can't ignore this. If there's even a chance to learn the truth, I have to take it.
He typed a brief reply. Where? Then saved the email draft, postponing the leak. Kazuki zipped his bag shut, the weight of what he carried pressing down. Tomorrow, everything could change. The next morning, Kazuki found the park bench as instructed. A woman in a dark pantsuit was already waiting.
You are Kazuki, correct? Please, sit. I am with the regulatory agency. Reina has been our confidential informant for 8 months. She's been building a case against your executives.
She handed over an open file. Inside were dated notes, risk assessments, and Reina's written statement. She pointed to a section. Reina extended the investigation twice, risking exposure to gather enough evidence.
Those demotions. She was removing innocent employees from the signatory list, including you.
Kazuki's breath caught. The coldness, the silence. It was all a shield. She had been protecting him all along.
I accused her of ruining lives while she was saving mine.
The raid is imminent. You must keep this quiet until then. Can you do that?
Kazuki closed the file, a storm of guilt and gratitude swirling in his chest. He nodded, agreeing to silence until the raid. Kazuki returned to the office the next morning, the weight of the truth a heavy secret. He passed Reina in the hallway. Their eyes met for a single charged second. She gave a nearly imperceptible nod, then looked away. She knew the days that followed were torture. Kazuki could barely focus on his menial tasks.
Any moment now, the waiting is eating me alive.
On the fifth morning, the elevator doors slid open, and the regulator stepped out. Flanked by a team of agents, the raid had begun. Agents spread across the floor, badges flashing, voices commanding. Kazuki stood frozen at his desk, heart slamming against his ribs. In the distance, he saw executives being pulled from their offices, protestations echoing. This was the beginning of the end. Everything Reina had risked was finally coming to a head. The regulator strode to the executive suite, a folded arrest warrant in her hand.
You have no authority. I'll have every one of your badges for this.
The executive was handcuffed, his protest swallowed by the chaos as he was led away. Agents swarmed the records room, hauling out boxes labeled with the safety division's name. Inside those boxes were the forged certifications, every incriminating page that could end careers. Kazuki stood rigid by his cubicle. An agent opened a personnel file and scanned it quickly. The agent nodded to a colleague. Kazuki's name was absent from every safety division record.
I am clean. Not a single line bears my signature. She really did protect me.
Across the floor, Reina stood at her office door, watching the arrests in silence. Her face betrayed nothing, but her knuckles were white around the doorframe. The next morning, Reina walked into the HR office, a folded letter in her hand.
Effective immediately. I take full responsibility.
But you are not. The investigation would clear you.
This is the only way to protect the innocent employees.
She slid her badge across the desk, then turned and left without another word. Kazuki watched from the corridor, his feet rooted to the floor, unable to intervene. By evening, the news was everywhere. Headlines blared across every screen. Safety fraud exposed. They painted Reina as a complicit manager who failed to act. He spotted her leaving the building, a small box in her arms, shoulders rigid against the stairs. Her name was already being dragged through the mud. Kazuki clenched his fist, promising silently to fix this. Weeks later, a hearing was convened. Kazuki was called as a witness. He took the stand, the weight of the room settling on his shoulders.
Mr. Kazuki, please describe the events leading to your demotion.
My boss, Reina, demoted me publicly without explanation. I was 2 weeks from a promotion. Later, I discovered the promotion was to the safety division, where certifications were forged. Every signatory was later terminated. She saved my career and my freedom by keeping my name off those documents.
He glanced at Reina, who sat rigid in the gallery, her dark violet eyes shimmering.
I mistook her silence for cruelty. It was the only way to protect us without compromising the investigation.
The courtroom was silent, the weight of his words hanging in the air. The hearing was adjourned until the following day. Reina's fate rested on the panel's decision. The next morning, Reina took the stand. Her usual composure was laced with exhaustion.
For 8 months, I secretly provided evidence to the regulator. The demotions were my only tool to protect employees. I couldn't warn anyone without collapsing the case. Every signature I prevented saved someone from criminal charges. The agency confirms Reina's cooperation was essential. Without her, the fraud would have continued undetected.
A murmur rippled through the courtroom as the panel conferred. Then the gavel fell. The room went silent. The verdict: Reina was cleared of all wrongdoing. Her actions were deemed heroic. Reina's stoicism crumbled. She covered her mouth, tears spilling freely for the first time. In the gallery, Kazuki exhaled, months of guilt lifting. She was free. As she walked off the stand, their eyes met, a shared understanding passing between them. Outside the courthouse, afternoon light filtered through the columns. Kazuki caught up to Reina.
Reina, I owe you more than an apology. I never would have survived without that demotion.
I am just glad my gamble paid off. Losing everything could have been for nothing.
She smiled faintly. The first genuine warmth Kazuki had ever seen from her.
I spent months thinking you were the enemy. You took the brunt of my anger.
I had to let you. If anyone suspected, the case would have collapsed.
They stood in a comfortable silence, the weight of the ordeal finally settling. Kazuki reached into his pocket and pulled out a fresh business card.
I am starting my own firm. When you are ready, I want you to be my first employee.
Reina stared at the card, her dark violet eyes softening. He'd given her more than a job. He'd given her a future. 2 years later, Kazuki's consulting firm had taken root. A bright office, a team of honest professionals. He'd built it on ethics and transparency. Everything the old company lacked. But one piece was still missing. He tracked Reina down to a small apartment on the outskirts of the city. She'd been working odd jobs, her reputation still shadowed by the false rumors. He knocked, heart hammering. The door creaked open.
Kazuki, what are you doing here?
I told you I'd come back. My firm is ready, and you are still my first choice.
He handed her a crisp envelope, an official offer letter, with a salary that matched her old position.
He kept his word. After everything, he still believes in me.
She looked up from the letter, her dark violet eyes searching his face. The answer hung in the silence.
After everything I put you through, the public humiliation, the isolation, why would you still want me?
Because you didn't just save my career. You kept innocent people out of prison. That's the partner I need.
But others still lost their jobs, their reputations. I carry that guilt every day.
And they were spared legal charges. You gave them a second chance they never knew they had. We all owe you.
He's right. Every demotion was a life raft, not a betrayal. I can finally accept that. Then, I accept. On one condition, promise me we'll never work in a place that requires secrecy like that again.
I promise. This is a fresh start for both of us.
She extended her hand, and they shook firmly. A silent vow passed between them. Reina's dark violet eyes, once hard and conflicted, now held a quiet certainty. Reina sat at her new desk, the morning light warm on her face. Her first day at K&R Solutions.
Welcome. I saved the desk right next to mine. We're partners now.
No more cold corridors or fake smiles. Just honest work.
They fell into an easy rhythm, the soft clatter of keyboards and rustle of papers filling the bright office.
I'd forgotten what it felt like to enjoy coming to work.
No more survival mode. We're building something that actually matters.
As the afternoon wore on, sunlight stretched across their desks, painting the room in shades of gold. On each of their desks lay a fresh business card. K&R Solutions, co-founders.
Co-founders. I never thought I'd deserve that title.
But looking across the desk at Kazuki, a quiet smile broke across her face. She was exactly where she belonged. The office emptied, but Reina lingered a moment, her eyes tracing the nameplate on her door. Across the room, Kazuki was already tidying his desk. The easy quiet of a day well spent after so many battles. She picked up the business card from her desk, the two names printed side by side in elegant font. K&R Solutions, co-founders, Kazuki and Reina. 2 years ago, she had signed demotion papers, her own career a casualty of a secret she couldn't tell. But standing here now, the shame had been replaced by something unshakable: trust. The kind built not in easy times, but through fire and silence. Reina set the card down beside the 2 cups, a mundane ritual turned sacred by everything they'd survived. She turned off the lamp, leaving the office to the gentle hum of the city night. Sometimes, the worst demotion is the greatest protection. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the office windows as Kazuki and Reina walked in together, coffee already in hand.
Ready to build something honest?
Honest and transparent. You promised me that, remember?
The morning unfolded in easy conversations and clinking keyboards, the hum of a startup in bloom. A business card sat on the corner of Reina's desk. The names Kazuki and Reina catching the light. It wasn't just a title. It was proof that trust can survive the worst storms. Reina glanced at the card, a quiet smile playing on her lips. She no longer flinched at her own reflection. 2 years ago, she had signed a demotion paper that felt like a death sentence. Now she signed contracts that meant new life. The coffee grew cold on the desk, but neither noticed. They were too busy building a future worth having. Sometimes, the hardest decisions are the kindest, and sometimes, the person you thought destroyed you is the one who saved your life. The workday wound down, the sky outside softening into a warm dusk. Kazuki and Reina sat together, reviewing the final draft of a client report.
Remember when we used to sit in opposite corners of a hostel office, never dreaming we'd end up here?
I dreamed about it every night. It was the only thing that kept me going.
They closed the folder and gathered their things. The silence between them no longer heavy, but alive with shared understanding. Kazuki held the door as they stepped out into the cool evening air, the city lights beginning to glitter. Reina paused on the step, looking up at the stars, just beginning to pierce the darkening sky.
For so long I thought this chapter was closed, but it was just waiting for the right time to begin.
She looked down at the business card still clutched in her hand, the names shimmering under the street lamp. Then she slipped it into her pocket and caught up with Kazuki, their footsteps falling into perfect sync. The business card lay on the empty desk behind them, 2 coffee cups beside it, a quiet monument to everything they had overcome and everything still to be written.